But of course, there's a big fight now with pro-Israel Hollywood and anti-Israel Hollywood. So this girl gets up there and she says, "Free Palestine," and she says, "It's my obligation as a Jewish person to distinguish Jews from the state of Israel. Our religion and our culture is such an important and longstanding institution that it is really separate to this sort of ethno-nationalist state." Of course, she's talking about Israel. Now, I do believe this is an important distinction, and I believe that there is a massive propaganda effort. I don't believe it. It's true. Everybody sees it. There is a massive propaganda. In fact, I'll show the evidence in a second. There is a massive propaganda operation afoot. And really, this is, I mean, it's ironic because they sit here and pretend like, oh, we're defending Jews. And really, you're actually hurting Jews the most. And there's this huge propaganda movement to convince you that Jews and Israel are basically the same thing. So that way, when you say anything about Israel, they can just accuse you of being an anti-Semite, therefore discrediting your opinion, censoring you, debanking you, removing you from the Trump movement. That's what they do. But there is obviously a distinction. And it's beyond just the obvious distinction that a Jewish person, whether in America, Israel, anywhere, a Jewish person is an independent person that can think whatever they want. And from my experience, Jews are very diverse in their thoughts. Some are very pro-Israel. Some are very anti-Israel. Some are very deep into their faith. Some have completely abandoned their faith. That's my experience. So no, they use this movement, this pro-Israel, whatever this thing is, this Netanyahu regime, this Zionist movement, they use Jews as cannon fodder, as like a public communications body shield. Oh, if you say anything bad about Israel, you're an anti-Semite. Not true at all. Doesn't even make sense at face value. And by the way, there are plenty of Jews that don't agree with Netanyahu. And there are plenty of Israeli Jews that protest Netanyahu every day in the streets. And that movement is growing. So she comes out, and you can agree with the Palestine thing or not. I'm not involved in it. I'm not on any side of it. I'm on the America side. It has nothing to do with me. I went out. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to see a single foreign flag in my country anymore. Stop it. Not my problem. You guys figure it out. And if you're so obsessed with that, then go live over there. If you want to come live over here with us, then you're going to leave that over there because we don't want it here. But now it is here. And it disgusts me. And it breaks my heart. So, but she makes an obvious statement. It shouldn't even be radical. Hey, criticizing the Israel government or military or Netanyahu regime, Jews are a different thing than that. Oh, yeah, thank you. That's obvious. But okay, thank you for distinguishing. That might be a problem. And you can see why. She gets attacked. And I can't understand why people would do this. It's just straight propaganda. Here's a couple examples. If you're a Jew and you don't understand that Judaism and Jewish culture is inexplicably tied to Israel, then you really don't understand anything about being Jewish. Oh, so you just want her to own what the Netanyahu regime is doing. You just want her to own what's going on in the Gaza Strip with you. And you just want to throw her like a human body shield in front of you for PR. So that you can come out and say, no, every Jew has to support what happens in Israel and every government and every military action ever. It's the only way to be a real Jew. And that way, anybody who says anything about Israel, we can call them anti-Semites and get away with anything. So you see why this is going on. You see why she feels she has to say that. And then you see why the assumptions are made on the other side. Because again, people say things like this. This is from Jewish Wonk. Arguing that Jews have an obligation to distinguish Jews from Israel is anti-Semitic. What? How many Jews alive today have never even set foot in Israel and never will? And don't even care to? What about Jews that identify as Americans? What about Jews that actually believe America is the promised land? Oh, I guess they get in the way. I guess you can't have any. I guess it's kind of like a cult then, isn't it? Arguing that Jews have an obligation to distinguish Jews from Israel is anti-Semitic. You're still operating in the framework that says the ignorance of anti-Semites is the responsibility of the Jews. What? Zionism teaches to stop groveling for the approval of those who hate us. So I guess this person just thinks everyone hates them, and then you can just kill anybody and everybody you want because that's just you being a good Jew. And if there isn't a Jew that agrees with that, then they're an anti-Semite. That's some interesting logic. So again, you can see why people reach these crazy conclusions with all the insanity that's out there. Well, we're going to cut through all the BS is what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. All right, well, what else do you have? This is fun. Yeah, this shouldn't concern you at all. Palantir. It was an honor to meet with the president of Israel. Before Palantir's board of directors meeting in Tel Aviv, we are proud to stand alongside Israel supporting a culture of innovation, technology, and democracy. Yes. So you're literally getting an Israeli surveillance spy state in the country, and the Trump administration now appears to be rolling out the red carpet to implement here. Full AI surveillance grid under Israeli control. Sorry, am I misinterpreting this? We all know what's going on. And if you think that you're going to give us Vance and Rubio after they kiss the wall, you got another thing coming. And by the way, I like J.D. Vance. I do. And I think Rubio has done a pretty nice job as Secretary of State, quite frankly, overall. But if you think you're going to go kiss the wall and run for president and win, you got another thing coming. That is no longer politically acceptable. We are not taking people paying homage and showing loyalty to foreign countries anymore. Never again. We're done. And that's the ultimate admission. That's the ultimate sign of you going over there, putting on the hat and kissing the wall. You're paying homage. You're showing loyalty to a foreign country. We've seen it. We're done with it. Simple as that. Democracy. Oh yeah, let's talk about democracy. I have a choice of who I want to vote for. I'm not going to vote for that. Simple as that. And guess what? Most Americans are now feeling the same way. Now, what is this here from Netanyahu?
In which PLO terrorists murdered our athletes to the Olympic Games. And my predecessor, Golda Meir, vowed that we shall track down these terrorists and get them one by one, which is what we proceeded to do in the leading European countries. And we did this one by one by one. I didn't hear a great cry of wrongdoing to these countries. Even though they weren't harboring terrorists, the terrorists were there. Okay, they didn't even harbor them, as is the case in other cases. The terrorists happened to be on that soil, and we acted, which is what...
So Israel admits they run operations on foreign soil, killing who they view as terrorists. That's quite an admission, don't you think? And he kind of catches himself, and he's like, and that's when he changes his cadence. He's like, holy crap, I just admit that we run operations in foreign countries. Oops, I should try to lighten it. Benjamin Netanyahu just admitted Israel runs foreign operations to kill who they consider terrorists in foreign countries.
Democracies do, including the leading democracy, when they have the ability to target terrorists to threaten their civilians. So this is a principle we established. It's a principle we follow. It hasn't changed.
And by the way,
in which
he goes on to say after that, he brags about how every cell phone you have is Israel. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yeah. Yeah, so he says that. So first he admits that Israel runs operations in foreign countries to kill whatever it deems as terrorists, which, yeah, that's a little concerning. I'd say that's a pretty big admission. And then after we learn of the pager incident with the penetration into what they view as terrorists, then combine that with a statement like this.
In previous years and today as well. But do you have cell phones? You have cell phones here? No? You're holding a piece of Israel right there. You know that? I mean, a lot of the cell phones, the medicines, the food.
Oh, yes, Israel does everything. Oh, we all need Israel so much. Oh, you're holding Israel in your cell phone. Is that a threat? Knowing what you guys did with the beepers? How proud you are of that? About that tech. Where's the money really coming from? Where is the investment really coming from? Where are the production standards really being propped up from, Bibi?
This is business expenditure on R&D funded from abroad. So this is by country. How much is funded from abroad in your economy? Well, this is clearly the winner, the United States, naturally. This is an absolute price. It's 2023. Let me tell you.
So in other words, we prop up your entire tech industry. So Netanyahu admits it. The United States props up the entire Israel tech industry. We prop up their military. We prop up their security. We prop up their healthcare. We prop up their education. We prop up their tech industry. So that's you needing us. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to have those expenditures right here at home? That's what people are realizing. We're struggling. Our infrastructure is collapsing. Our streets are getting more violent. Our homelessness and poverty rates are rising. And yet we keep sending all this money overseas, the biggest benefactor of which being Israel. People are just sick of it. And then you're going to come out here and say, we have the best tech. You have Israel tech in your phone. Oh, but we funded it. Oh, I see. We funded that tech. So I guess that's technically America tech, isn't it? Yeah. Oh. All right. Now, I think we'll close it out with this. Do you feel like people are just going crazy on the right? Do you feel like it's like, I feel like people have just lost their minds. A lot of people on the right. And I guess it was always there. These are just the Republicans that are just going to be Republicans no matter what. If I'm a loyal Republican, I'll always oppose the Democrats. Ugh. Like, no critical thinking. It's just like, that's their team. They just wear the jersey and cheer no matter what. The team gets beat 30-0, and they tell you how great it was. So there was a vote today on a bill to lower the age to 14 that people in D.C. can be tried as adults for first-degree murder, sexual assault, armed robbery, and assault. So look, I understand the purpose, and I know that things have to be done to fix the crime problem in D.C. I understand that. Okay? But, folks, who here really believes a 14-year-old is an adult? And you had 240 people that voted that a 14-year-old is an adult. A 14-year-old. Now, look, I'm not against changing legal precedents and making sure that violent criminals at the age of 14 even spend the rest of their lives in jail if they kill somebody. I'm not against that. Let me be clear. I understand the purpose, and I think that there are ways that we can get this purpose done without losing our minds and sounding like idiots. A 14-year-old is not an adult. It's just ridiculous. Who would actually argue that? And so I say that in a post, and I'm getting attacked. I'm like, really? Where? Tell me in what other circumstance are you ever going to argue that a 14-year-old is an adult? I don't want to prosecute adults who sexually abuse 14-year-olds. Release the Epstein files. Mic drop. Mic drop. But President Trump attacks Massey and supports Lindsey Graham. Great. Cool. Yeah. So that's just kind of a little oddity, little, it's just, politics is so crazy. By the way, guys, what do you think? The suspect in the Kirk assassination is on suicide watch. You think he makes it? And if he doesn't make it, is that just total confirmation of a patsy? If he doesn't make it and he can't talk, is that just not total confirmation that this is a patsy? Because to me, that wraps it up. Now we're in full JFK assassination rewrite. They're basically, it's just like what they did with Hollywood, where they just give you old movies and just redo old movies. It's like the same script. They're just redoing the JFK assassination. It's like, there it is. There's the film. There he is getting shot right in front of the public. Everybody's seeing it. And then here's the patsy. And then they're going to kill the patsy. I mean, if that happens, I think everything changes. Because I'd still say, all things considered, if I had to bet, I'd say the conclusion that this was a left-wing assassination, I'd say that's still the highest odds on the board. I'd say that's still the highest odds on the board. I'm not convinced of that. I'm not reaching that conclusion. I'm just saying that's where I would lean. That's the highest odds. I'd say that's what it still looks like it to me, despite all the other weirdness. I just have to say that's probably the best we've got. But if he doesn't make it, if he gets killed, it's no. Now it's okay. He was a patsy. And now the conversation takes a major shift in a different direction. And see, and what's crazy is that all of this is going on. And this is why when we're all put in the same room with all of these elephants, folks, it's just going to be awkward. I don't know how else to say it. It's going to be awkward to have all these elephants in the room unaddressed as we're sitting here in the dark nightmare of what we saw happen to Charlie Kirk. And then if he doesn't make it, this doesn't mean anything. And people are just covering up. It's wild. It's just like what we saw when they started to tell you that the Epstein thing was a hoax and everything about Epstein didn't exist. Now the FBI says there were no clients. Epstein and Maxwell trafficked sex slaves to nobody. An island of nobodies. An island of nothing. A plane of nothing. A Zorro ranch of nothing. A New York penthouse is nothing. It's ridiculous. And you see people, see, nothing to see here. It's a hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. There's no Epstein files. There's no Epstein clients. Oh, my gosh. Wow. You really are still living in the dark. You really are way behind. You really don't get it. So that's why it's like you feel like it's one extreme or the other at this point. It's like, okay, yeah, the Q arrests are coming, or this administration is cooked. It's just, I just don't see how, you can feel any other way if we continue. And that's what we're left with at the end of this month. If nothing changes at the end of this month, I don't know what other conclusion you can reach, folks. And I get the feeling more dark stuff is coming because the bad guys aren't being arrested. The criminal mafia, the political criminals, everything, the deep state unit, they're not being arrested. They're still out there operating. All the bad guys are out there operating. And people are getting killed as it's going on. You can't ignore it, folks. It can't go on like this. And you can feel this pressure cooker. Everybody can sense that something is still not right. Everybody can sense that there's something really dark and sinister hovering now over this administration. Everybody can sense it. Everybody can feel it. Everybody knows it. And believe this, a lot of the big MAGA accounts that you see out there that are pushing the pro-Trump, pro-MAGA stuff, pro-Republican stuff, these are paid promotions. These are just political commercials on social media now. Behind the scenes, folks, they know. They know. But it's their job. It's how they make their money. It's how they make their living. It's how they make their income. But behind the scenes, they know. They know. And, I guess I'll actually say this in closing. Because I'm telling you, this pressure cooker with free speech, folks, they can't have it. There's too much pressure. There's too many conversations. It's threatening the establishment too much. I think something big is coming in response. But it's funny because I watch, you can kind of see now, and this is not to say somebody is better than the other. I'm just telling you what's happening here. And if you really pay attention, you can see it. You have people in, let's say, the independent media, the new social media, okay, that do political commentary and everything else. And you have people in that realm that are totally bought and paid for. Totally bought and paid for. And even you could even say in the larger political media body, you have people that are literally just bought and paid for. Who knows what their politics are? Their politics are whoever pays them the most. And that's why there are different instances you can see of people being on the right and then people being on the left and then on the right and then on the left. It just depends where they're working or who they're working for. So there's a ton of these people out there that they just work for whoever pays them. Their politics just land at whoever's paying their bills. They don't really have any principles. And you're seeing a lot of these individuals really getting defensive, aggressive, because they know that the gig is up. They know because there are people out there that are actually independent. And again, this isn't to say that everybody that's out there independent doing their own thing is good or bad or, whatever. I'm just telling you, it's the people that are independent that are exposing the people that are bought and paid for. And they're freaking out. Because they don't understand. One, they can't even comprehend that you, a member of the political media, would actually care. That you, a member of the political media, would actually have principles and values and morals. Because these people have none. It's a foreign concept to them. They can't even comprehend it, that you might actually be in this for an ideological reason. For something bigger. They can't even believe it. So they're just mind blown that you could stay independent and stay off the talking points and stay away from the propaganda. And it drives them nuts because they can't understand it. But they feel threatened by it because it exposes them. So you're going to see this phenomenon is going to continue of the truly independent press, which, sometimes is crazy and zany. Sometimes it's the best. Sometimes it's the worst. But you've got the truly independent press that are true ideologues, true believers, principles, morals, you name it. And then you just have the political henchmen, the political hitmen, no pun intended, that just do whatever they're told and take a paycheck. It's just a job to them. They might as well be at a factory putting gears, into cars. It's just a job to them. They have no emotion about it. It's just a job. So you're going to continue to see people like that spiraling out as they're getting exposed for what they are, as the independent press continues to get louder and more powerful. Because that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So that's going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. A little bonus stream. And I was even thinking about not even doing a live stream because I'm doing a lot of interviews. I'm doing almost an interview a day. And I guess I'll kind of go into an update now because I know there's a lot of people that probably want an update. I wasn't even going to go live, but I just felt really compelled to come on air and do this tonight for the same reason I'm doing my own show, quite frankly. Because, folks, I've scoured the political media. I've scoured the news media. And it's vapid. It's vapid. And I just saw all the different coverage and everything, and I just felt compelled that I had to come out here and lay out my coverage because I just don't see anyone doing it. And you know what? That's probably a lot of ego-driven. But at the same time, it was just something compelled me to come on here and do this tonight and kind of break my hiatus, if you will, from doing my own live streams. So now that the hiatus is broken, there might be more. Let me give you an update because I owe this to my audience. I'm not going to do calls tonight. I'm not going to get too much into the chat tonight. I'm sorry. My life is a little hectic right now. I've barely even eaten today, so I'm basically starving. I'm having work done on my house right now, and like the kitchen and living room is like completely inoperable. I don't even have a kitchen because I'm getting it prepped for sale. But because this audience has supported me so much, and you guys are basically building my next platform. I'm truly appreciative and grateful of that. So I feel that I at least owe it to you to give you a bit of an update here. I don't want to be too long-winded. So let me tell you where we're at as far as the Win Network is concerned and the Owen Report. And I kind of got into a little bit in my last live stream, but I'll give you a bit of an update. So the goal was to be launched in the new studio on October 6th. I was hoping that the stars would align for that to be possible. It's looking like that's not going to be possible. Because in this whole process, I have to sell my house, I have to buy a new house, I have to build the studio in the new house. And then so aside from dealing with all of that, I'm also dealing with the professional side of this, and getting in communication with different sponsors and marketing groups, and just kind of working the scenes of the actual functionality and infrastructure of the show. So as far as all of that is concerned, I will probably have a better picture next week because I've got some other meetings coming up this week, and then I'm going to find out about the dual home situation.